What up, YouTube? It's your host with the most, Gio. Today's your Thursday Thunder. And today, what I want to do is give you guys a tidbit of wisdom. Right, this is my new series that I got going on. I'm making a new playlist dedicated to giving advice straight from books that I read. So you can see that it's not my own making, but really successful people are what bring this knowledge to my mind. Now, I want to make a habit of actually having a tidbit of wisdom every Thursday, right? So if you come and check out my channel every Thursday, you probably see another book I talk about, because I got I think over 50 right now, and growing too. I ordered some more today. But today's book is How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell. Wow, now this book is an awesome one, I can tell you that. He talks about pretty much what the title says, how successful people think. Now, success in itself, that meaning really depends on who you ask. Because for some, I mentioned this earlier in one of my older videos, but for some, success is like $1 million. For others, it's like having a good family at home. And for others, it's graduating college in 3 years or 4 years, whatever. But in all areas of success, there are certain characteristics that these successful people have, especially in the way they think, right? And so today's tidbit of wisdom, I mean, there's so many points to go over in this book, but I'm gonna give you guys just a few. I actually want to read you guys a part. Now, right here, he's talking about the importance of thinking outside the box, or of challenging common thinking, right? He says, question the status quo. Most people want their lives to keep improving, yet they value peace and stability at the same time. People often forget that you can't improve and still stay the same. Growth means change. Change requires challenging the status quo. If you want greater possibilities, you can't settle for what you have now. Achievers refuse to accept the status quo. Now, the book is filled with tidbits of wisdom just like that. Now, my business partner let me borrow this book, and as you can see, it's hard to read it without marking it all up. But yeah, man, that's one point out of the whole book that I want to talk about right now, and that's challenging the status quo, right? Question what everybody else is doing. Think outside the box. Just because everybody jumps off a cliff, it's kind of cliche, but are you gonna jump off the cliff too? Alright? Think about ways you can improve your life that will give you an edge over everybody else. Because successful people, what are they? They're outliers. They're abnormal. They're abnormalities. Average people follow the group. And he also mentions that in here. So I don't know about you, but I know, and this is without any pretension or arrogance, that I'm far from average. I can compare myself to all my classmates, all my peers, people on social media my age, and I'm seeing where they're going and I'm seeing where I'm going, and it's different. And I'll leave it at that. But successful people think in various different ways than common people. Now, for example, successful people, according to him, they think and they reflect. So they don't just go around their life aimlessly and seeing wherever they land. Nah, they literally block out time just so they can think about what's going on in their life, about how they're getting toward their goals, and if they're not, how they can get onto that track. And this is something that I do often, but most people don't. But then again, that's what separates me and you from everybody else. If you're not doing this yet, I recommend it for sure. Now, also, he mentions how the word impossible isn't in a successful person's vocabulary. He mentions how many people who are impossibility thinkers do you know who have reached any level of success? And then he answers, none, exclamation mark. And it's true. Like all these people that are like, oh no, that's impossible, or oh no, good luck, because it's not gonna happen. Well, maybe not for you, but I know, like, if me and you, if we set our minds to something, there's nothing, and I mark my words, there's nothing that can prevent us from getting somewhere. And that's if we want it bad enough, right? The majority, they make excuses and all that. But if you dead set yourself on getting or achieving a goal, guess what? You're already halfway there. Now, one more thing that he mentions is that successful people actually organize their days strategically. They're like strategic thinkers, right? This kind of connects to that book that I made a video on last week, and how like planning your day is important. He mentions it as like strategically, like it's a strategic strategy, which makes sense. Strategic strategy, huh? But successful people do not let their environment control their actions. Instead, they in turn control their environment. They manipulate it in a way that encourages success on their part. So I recommend getting this book, actually, but you'll probably see me saying that on a few other ones, because there's some books out there that guarantee will change your life. So that's it for today. My followers on Snapchat actually saw me talk a little bit about this book. But if you don't have me on Snapchat yet, I recommend it. It's who's_Geo. And I'll put it in the description just in case. Follow me there. And as always, those who have ears to hear, let them hear.